We bring you developments from Taiwan's southeastern coast, where Typhoon Suo is just brushing past the country.
A tale of two cities. The mayors of Shanghai and Taipei hold a controversial meeting in China. Time for a change. Taiwan moles giving disabled foreigners the same rights as its own citizens. Plus,
out of all the different iguanas, only this one is considered an invasive species in Taiwan. We take a look why.
a warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Liao. Taipei Mayor Chiang Wan-an is in Shanghai. Liao reports on why his trip to China is causing controversy.
A very rare show of friendship between officials of two countries that do not see eye to eye. Chiang Wan-an, the mayor of Taiwan's capital Taipei, accepts a gift from the mayor of Shanghai on a visit to the Chinese city.
在大环境越困难的时候，在两岸关系越紧张的时候，越需要交流、沟通以及对话，这是我坚定的立场啊！我相信这也是符合大部分台湾民众的期待。
Chang is in Shanghai to attend an annual exchange between the two cities in person, raising eyebrows in the region. Official communications between the national governments of China and Taiwan broke down years ago, as China increasingly pushes its claim of sovereignty over Taiwan and upping its threats to take the self-ruled nation by force.
两岸的同胞呢，同宗同源，血浓于水。
But it's not that simple for the Taiwanese, with both the politicians and the public split on the question of how to deal with China. It's the biggest issue in upcoming presidential elections. Rival candidates clash over Taipei's relationship with Beijing. Mayor Chang and his opposition party, the Kuomintang or KMT, says Taiwan should be closer to Beijing.
So Chiang Wan-an being from the KMT, he is really trying to home in on the message that they are the party, that their candidate, Hou You-yi, is the one that can best communicate and dialogue with China. So I think that's an added level of symbolism for his trip this time.
But Chang held a different view when he first campaigned as mayor, saying then that this sort of exchange should not take place while China continued to harass Taiwan. Many have now accused him of going back on his word. The controversy surrounding his trip strikes at the heart of Taiwan's biggest political dilemma: what sort of relationship it needs with its belligerent neighbour. James Lin and Liao for TaiwanPlus.
The three opposition candidates for president all want to topple the ruling party. There are rumors of them joining forces with the aim of doing so, but so far even scheduling a meeting between the candidates is proving difficult. John Van Trieste has more.
Three men with a common goal. Hou You-yi, Ko Wen-je, and Terry Guo all want to be the next president. And as they've made clear on the campaign trail, all want to end the rule of the Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP, which has held the presidency for close to 8 years. But the split between the three could hand the DPP another term. On election day, the candidate with the biggest share of votes wins, and the DPP is united behind this man, Lai Ching-te. There's been talk of the three opposition candidates working together or possibly forming a coalition. But what that would look like is unclear. Though they've shown up at some of the same campaign stops, they haven't even sat down together yet. Here's how Kuomintang candidate Hou You-yi responded to rumors he'd have coffee on Wednesday with the electronics tycoon and independent Terry Guo.
从来头到尾都没有接到这个消息哈，这个消息不知从何而来。
The Office of Taiwan People's Party candidate Ko Wen-je also says coffee with Guo won't happen anytime soon.
先去谈理念价值跟国政论述，先去看有没有办法达到一个共识，然后后续才是真的候选人本身，大家再去做一个会谈，所以基本上应该不会这么快。
Terry Guo's office says that he will meet with Hou You-yi, but just not right now.
是因为两边的时间有一点点瞧不太拢哦，所以原定周三的那个会稍微延期哦，但是我们会保证在近期几天会再找适当的时间，不会太久，毕竟这几天郭侯两个人就会碰面来公开来谈。
And even if any meetings do happen, it's uncertain what they'll achieve or how much common ground the opposition camp can find as the country enters the last 4 months until Election Day. Howard Zhang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Typhoon Suo is currently scraping by Taiwan's southern tip. Sally Anson was down there and spoke to local fisheries workers.
Unable to go out to sea, Filipino fisheries workers in Taiwan's southeastern Taidong County spent the day working on ropes for their fishing boat, kept ashore by typhoon warnings and expectations of strong rains.
Waiting for the weather to be good. No more typhoon, then go out sailing again.
Typhoon Suo caused flooding in their home country of the Philippines just days ago. But here in Taidong, few people were concerned as the tropical cyclone, with winds of up to 180 kilometers per hour, passed some 300 kilometers from these shores.
电视在报说好像没有事了，只有可能会下雨了。
是幸好现在还没有下雨，所以可以来走一走。那晚一点风雨比较大的话，可能就没有办法了。
This normally busy fishing port faces out towards the Pacific Ocean and is usually the first to feel the effects of incoming typhoons. But today it's quiet, and it's in the country's central mountain regions that's more vulnerable to floods and landslides.
The last typhoon to scrape past Taiwan to the north just a month ago left thousands without power in central Nantou County. Fearing a repeat of the disaster, residents there have been stacking up sandbags to stop possible flooding from Typhoon Suo.
好不容易才慢慢起来了，又二次伤害就头痛啊。
As a geographically diverse country, the impacts of typhoons are felt differently across Taiwan. And here on the eastern coast, these fisheries workers are just waiting for the storm to pass completely so they can get back out to sea. John Su and Sally Jensen in Taidong County for TaiwanPlus.
A third person has died from dengue fever this year in Taiwan, and the number of reported cases has passed 3,000. It's the biggest outbreak in the country since 2015, when over 43,000 cases were reported. Dengue fever is carried by mosquitoes, and outbreaks usually occur in the summer months. The majority of cases have been in Taiwan's tropical south, in particular the city of Tainan. But infections have been reported in other cities and counties, including in the north. Local authorities around the country are working to prevent the disease spreading further. For more on this year's dengue outbreak in Taiwan, reporter Jeremy Olivier spoke with National Taiwan University public health professor and epidemiologist Zhan Changquan.
So should people in Taiwan be worried about the growing outbreak of dengue fever here?
This year is particular big outbreak, especially in South America and recently in South Asian countries. And Taiwan is no exception. The curve of this outbreak is following very similar to what we experienced in 2015. In that year, we have in total over 40,000 infected cases reported, and the number of deaths are recorded as over 200. So I think that's something we have to pay very high attention to, this ongoing epidemic of dengue.
Besides a higher amount of rainfall and standing water, are there any other factors behind the high number of cases this year?
Back in 2015, we saw the highest temperatures we ever saw in June. But this year, we saw this high temperature in July as well in August. So as the temperature rise, that's virus become more active. That means they have shorter time periods of replications. And for the mosquitoes' life cycles, they also are shortened from weeks to probably days, that you'll see more mosquitoes.
3 people this year have died from their infections out of 3,000 cases, around 3,000 cases. Is this considered high?
We are on the average of the death rates of what we can expect for dengue. So if we can keep our case numbers daily on optimal levels, then probably our health systems can still handle The worst scenario is you have cases over like 1,000, 2,000 per day. And, that will overflow our healthcare system, especially these ICU units that we need for some elderly or some people with underlying diseases such as diabetes. So if we can keep this case load low enough, then probably we are able to get over this pandemic with low mortality.
That was National Taiwan University professor and epidemiologist Zhan Changquan speaking with TaiwanPlus reporter Jeremy Olivier. Taiwan doesn't give disabled foreigners the same rights as its own citizens. Taiwan's legislature will soon have to decide if they should change that. Louise Watt has more.
South African entrepreneur Andrew Clerk crosses this road near his central Taipei home several times a day. A genetic condition has left him with 2% sight in just one eye. He asked authorities to install a beeping signal, but they told him it's not possible because Clerk doesn't have a disability certificate. He can't get one because he's not Taiwanese.
The government tells the world they really take care of the foreigners and they want foreigners here to come and teach and, come and bring their expertise and start businesses here. But then once you're here, you realize there's those little jabs from the back of like, hey, remember, you're a second-class citizen.
Foreigners like Clerk are shut out of disability services and subsidised transport and medical care because they can't get an official recognition of their disability. Taiwan says it operates on a reciprocal basis when it comes to foreign nationals. But more than 30 years after it first said that, the Taiwanese government has only given equal treatment to residents from one country, Japan. Despite not being part of the United Nations, Taiwan 9 years ago enacted a law to uphold a UN convention protecting the human rights of people with disabilities. By denying them recognition, foreigners say Taiwan is breaking its own law. Legislator Wang Dingyu from Taiwan's ruling party wants to change things. He's tabled an amendment to an existing law that would give foreigners who've lived in Taiwan for a cumulative 10 years the right to be certified as disabled.
They spend their life, maybe decades. They pay tax. They fulfill their duties in Taiwan. When they need help, we cannot ask them to go back their home, their country. No.
Clerk, who has been in Taiwan on and off for 18 years, would qualify. He helps people build businesses in Taiwan and gives speeches at government-sponsored events to help young people get ahead.
And just make yourself more valuable for the job market.
Clerk's Taiwanese partner is proud of his contributions and hopes his country soon allows him to be eligible for subsidised medical equipment and transport and special education for the visually impaired.
I think if Andrew and also other foreigners, if they reside here and they can get such certificate, I think that would be a good improvement and also something encouraging for people to actually to stay here.
As a new generation of foreigners try to find employment and ways to stay in Taiwan, long-time residents hope they will be treated more fairly. Klein Wong and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's COVID vaccine maker Medigen has become the first private company to agree to share its technology with the World Health Organization. The agreement will make Medigen's vaccine patent, research, and training available to other manufacturers worldwide. During the pandemic, Medigen's vaccine was the only Taiwan-made jab to be approved for emergency use. Over 3 million doses were given across 7 countries. WHO leaders say access to essential medicines, including technologies related to COVID, remains a top priority on the global health agenda. Coming up, from hip-hop dancing to jazz keys, we meet a Taiwanese jazz maestro. Stay tuned.
For more stories from here in Taiwan and around the world, please make sure to visit us at TaiwanPlus.com.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. Taiwan's government has pushed back against Vietnam's protests over military drills in the disputed South China Sea. Earlier this month, Taiwanese forces held live-fire exercises around Taiping Island. Vietnam said those were in serious violation of its sovereignty over the area. In response, Taiwan's foreign ministry said those accusations were totally unacceptable. Several countries claim sovereignty over Taiping, but Taiwan currently controls the island. Dutch chip equipment giant Asml has been given the green light to invest more money in Taiwan. The economy ministry says Asml can put another $330 million into its Taiwan branch. Last year, the ministry said the company is looking to expand its site in the north of the country, which could open as soon as 2026. The project would be Asml's biggest ever investment in Taiwan. Asml is the only company in the world that makes extreme ultraviolet lithography machines, which are essential for producing advanced chips. When you think of a pageant, you may think of talent shows and flashy outfits. But for the Miss Taiwanese American competition, winning the crown means acting as a cultural ambassador for Taiwan in the U.S. I traveled to California to speak to last year's winner to learn more about her responsibilities. Not every 19-year-old gets the opportunity to shake hands and greet a head of state, but for Tiffany Chang, it was one of her duties as Miss Taiwanese American 2022.
My name is Tiffany Chang, Zhang Fangyu, and I currently attend Stanford University, majoring in management science and engineering. And this past year, I served as the Miss Taiwanese American Queen of 2022.
Tiffany has lived in Los Angeles her entire life, but because of her upbringing, she's very in touch with her Taiwanese roots, including speaking Taiwanese Hokkien, commonly known as Taiwanese.
So growing up, I always spoke Taiwanese with my grandma, my grandparents, and I was very just in touch with my Taiwanese heritage.
Being crowned Miss Taiwanese American helped Tiffany gain a deeper appreciation for her background.
We were in the Huntington Beach parade, seeing a lot of people on the side like cheering for us and being like, "Oh, go Taiwan, like stay safe." That was really a testament to, how far we've come.
Every year, the Taiwan Center Foundation of Greater Los Angeles puts on a pageant to select the next Miss Taiwanese American. The winner of the competition is expected to act as an ambassador for Taiwanese culture throughout the year of their tenure. The selection process is rigorous.
In my year, there were 10 finalists, and so after that, you go through a 7 to 8 week training period, training both on Saturday and Sunday for about 6 to 8 hours. So throughout those 7 to 8 weeks, about, of course, not only the normal things you would think about when you hear pageant, like catwalk, makeup lessons, but most importantly, Taiwanese culture. You get history lessons and cultural lessons as well.
And in her bid to become Miss Taiwanese American, Tiffany built a robot which used infrared and AI technology to do a catwalk alongside her. But Tiffany's real responsibilities started only after she won the crown.
My favorite event by far was when President Tsai came to visit Los Angeles, and I was able to not only meet her, but of course be the MC for her presidential banquet. And so that was a really once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
At a young age, Tiffany took it upon herself to represent Taiwan, a country she wasn't even born in, but has come to appreciate and love because of her heritage. Programs like the Miss Taiwanese American pageant help American-born Taiwanese not only learn more about their roots, but also give them a chance to act as a bridge between the two sides. What's life like as a jazz musician in Taiwan? Yvonne Yang takes a look into this musical journey of jazz pianist Ying Shu.
Meet Ying Shu, a name that resonates across Taiwan's music industry. Whether it's jazz or pop, her presence is felt everywhere. But how did her musical odyssey begin? It all goes back to Shu's childhood, when she discovered a love for music after she tagged along with her brother to a music class.
So I went along and then somehow started to be getting really interested in music. And so I attended the classical music class in the elementary school, and that's how I started to play piano.
Her musical journey took an unexpected turn in high school when she switched from piano to dance and hip-hop.
So in high school, I was actually in the dance club. I was dancing like hip hop and stuff, you know, like at the time it was really cool.
It wasn't until university that she encountered jazz music. A pivotal moment at a jazz concert sparked a passion for the musical style, and she started to take jazz lessons, something that took her back to her passion for music.
So I just went, and somehow I still remember how to play piano, even though I stopped since 12 years old to, at the time, was like 19 years old or 20.
After university, armed with determination and her father's support, she went to New York to study jazz. Today, she is a prominent figure in Taiwan's music scene, collaborating with Mandopop artists and leaving a distinctive mark of her own. Her perspective, shaped by jazz, adds a unique touch to cross-genre projects.
I've been participating in some pop concerts or recording sessions. Most of them who invited me to join, like to participate the song, even though no matter it's arranging or just recording, like I think what they're looking for is my jazz expertise.
She's journey isn't confined to the familiar. Her latest album showcases her fearless exploration of new sounds, incorporating electronic elements and synthesizers.
I have to say this process, it's been so difficult but so fun. That's something I never had time or interest. Actually, I was not interested. But only the past 2 years when I started to make my new album, it's called In the Cave. So I started to put some electronic sound and elements and start to learn how to use synthesizer.
She had help from two other musicians, Jay Chen and Lin Wei-zhong.
So I would play piano, and then they will have the signal from my piano, and then they can reproduce to make different sound, totally different from what I play.
She's passion and artistry have taken her to legendary jazz clubs in New York and music festival stages worldwide, solidifying her position as a musical force to be reckoned with. Devin Tsai and Yvonne Yang for TaiwanPlus.
Southern Taiwan is facing a growing threat, invasive green iguanas. But several types of iguana have been brought into the country. So why is it only the green ones that pose a problem? Our reporter Sandy Chi explains.
Blue iguanas, red iguanas, green iguanas, and albino iguanas. This is not a Dr. Seuss book. It's a gathering of pet owners. Reptiles have become popular pets in recent years, with more and more families adopting scaly babies rather than dogs and cats. These owners say iguanas and other lizards are easier to care for and just as caring.
因为我觉得它长得很特别，而且鬣蜥它们是吃全素的，所以其实饲养起来还蛮方便。
But while these iguanas all have loving homes, over the years many more have escaped or were released into the wild. There, their numbers have exploded, and they pose a serious threat to the environment. They can even affect humans, entering people's homes and causing traffic accidents. They've had such a big impact that they're considered an invasive species.
Out of all these different types of iguanas, why are the green ones considered a problem in Taiwan? To find out why, we need to look back a few decades to when they were imported into Taiwan in large numbers.
In the early 2000s, around 100,000 green iguanas were brought to Taiwan. Back then, a baby green iguana cost around $30, much cheaper than other iguana species with other colors. That price eventually dropped as low as $7 after the local population exploded. And that's where the problem started.
野外泛滥之后，那数量变多了，价钱越来越低的时候，人家就觉得可能不会那么把它们放在心上这样。
In comparison, this little blue iguana costs up to $280. This red one is far more expensive. The owner says it cost him almost $1,000. Even if iguanas of other colors are valued more, that doesn't save them if they do get released into the wild. There, their attractive colors actually work against them, lowering their chances of survival.
虽然就我们人的眼睛看起来它非常的漂亮，可是呢，问题是这一些漂亮的颜色呢，在野外的环境其实反而会凸显说它很容易被发现，它在野外就有可能被 一些猛禽啊，或者是鸟类啊，把它吃掉。
Compared with their brightly colored cousins, green iguanas are also more adaptable. These traits have made them a big problem in southern Taiwan, where they're damaging farmland and competing with native species for food and territory. To try and fight their spread, the government has banned the import, breeding, and unlicensed ownership of green iguanas. Despite these measures, reptile breeders haven't been too badly affected. The government opened other options for the reptile industry, allowing them to breed iguana species of other colors.
那会有一些像想去追求高品系的玩家，那慢慢从国外去找看有没有不一样的基因回来，那去把它培育，看就是跟大家分享这样。
The government has also allowed new species of reptile into the country.
那个时候，他就适度的把这一项有所开放。那个犀牛鬣蜥，那有它适度的开放的，它原本是国际保育类1级保育类。
The government is still trying to tackle the problem of invasive green iguanas. But it's also making sure that reptile lovers and people who make a living from these lizards can continue to live with the animals they love. Patrick Chen, Ethan Chen, and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. Finally today, we leave you with images of water lanterns being released for Ghost Month in Taiwan. I'm Liao. Take care, and I'll see you next time.